back on the Sportster project. So today we're going to do the rear tire because my lights haven't come in. The lights ought to be in tomorrow. So when those come in, I'll get them all in and set up how I want them and then take care of all that wiring. But today, rear tire, and we'll adjust the belt. So first, I'm going to pop off the belt guard. So there's a bolt here and there's a nut back here that holds on the belt guard. And I would recommend putting blue painter's tape on any place where a wrench might come in contact with anything. I don't have any blue painter's tape, so I'm just going to have to be careful. And this bolt has a nut on the back side. And I may have to jack that up to wiggle that out of there. All right, so now we need to undo this little snap ring, and then we can undo the nut and undo our tensioners. So I'm just going to loosen both of these up. So now I'm going to undo the shocks so I can lower the bike down and sneak the axle out above the exhaust. Oh, I need my wrench. And I think I'll hold those up with a bungee cord. This side I don't need a bungee cord because I'm right here. My brake caliper is still in place, so I'm going to have to fight with that a little bit once I get the axle loose. And this one might require a little tappy tap with a hammer too, but hopefully not. Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a fighter. Yeah, it's gonna fight all the way. But when the axle comes through, the swing arm's gonna want to drop down. There it is. Should be done with those. Now I can pick the bike back up. I'm just going to keep coming up till the swing arm bottoms out. There we go. Now I can undo my belt. There's one wheel spacer. There's the other wheel spacer. And now my brake is out of the way. But it's kind of not. So I got to undo the caliper, but I kind of need the wheel out of the way and out of the rotor out of the caliper before I can take the caliper off. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And I believe that's a 12 or a 14 millimeter. Yeah, it's a 14 millimeter, 1.5 inch. And that mess can just hang right there. Fucking Sportsters. There we go. So I may not even have needed to and our wheel is out. I might not even have needed to remove the caliper, but I think it gives me just enough room. I think I did need to take it out. So brake pads look brand new. We're good there. I think I'm going to try and stick that back on now. But first, give this a little shot of silicone spray. And a little bit of silicone grease on these caliper slide pins. And inside this caliper, there's a little spring, and it's got little hooks that hold the brake shoes, brake pads in place. And if you don't get them in there, they're not going to go in place properly. There we go, that's tight. I should be able to wiggle that tire and everything back in with this already in place. All right, let's get this tire off and get the new one on. There we go. All right, now get that. Yep, turn it on. Yeah, these tires are super old and dried out. All hard up, grab it. And that wheel's nice and clean. I ain't gonna worry about attacking it with a brush. Just a rag will be enough. All right, we've got the brake side up, so that turns counterclockwise. So we need our arrow that way. No, we don't. We need our arrow that way, counterclockwise. And then come good mark. Good mark's right there. Some big mark right here. And I'll hit it. There we go. And mountain tires is generally just exercise brute force. There we go, stay down. Get a glue down there, that'll help. That's where the face opens. All right, we're back. So, this machine works, but it's not usable at the moment because I'm missing some pieces for the motorcycle adapter, and I need to calibrate the machine and haven't been able to do that. And even if it was calibrated, it wouldn't matter because I'm missing pieces for the wheel adapter for motorcycles. So, because the wheel bearings are fairly stiff in this wheel, and this wheel is good, and the wheel bearings are good, there's nothing wrong with the wheel bearings, it doesn't need new ones. They just turn real stiff, and sometimes it happens, it's fine. It's probably because the grease in there is so cold, and because there's not very many miles on them. So I ran it down to the Honda shop and had them balance it for me because I wasn't going to be able to balance it on my tire machine. And I'm probably going to have to deflate this tire again. But maybe not. There we go. Get my spacer. Now the other spacer is a little more difficult. Yep. There we go. And that's in place. So now, because the swing arm is just hanging free, I'm going to just lower the bike slightly. And I'll clean this axle and grease it up, and it should slide right in. And it goes in from the other side. Just a fine film of never sees or anti-sees. Doesn't take a ton of this stuff. I'm actually lower by a lot. go. All right, now we can raise it back up, put the shocks back on. And gotta love anti-seize. Get the tiniest bit on your gloves and everything turns silver. There's that. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and put the belt guard back on. Those shock bolts want 45 to 50 foot-pounds. So I'm going to torque them at 45. That one's tight. And that one's tight. All right, so now we need to adjust our belt tension. And to do that, we adjust the little adjuster nuts until the belt tension is correct. So we have to have the wheel off the ground, and we've got to find the tight spot in the belt. And there will be one spot as you roll the wheel around that'll be tighter and there it is. There's my tight spot. So now I put the bike back on the ground. So the full weight of the bike is on the wheel and thus applying tension to the belt. And now I can adjust my belt tension. And we've got the axle just hand tight. And that feels just right to me. So now I need to make sure that the wheel is aligned and straight in the chassis, in the swing arm. So Harley wants you to make a little tool out of a piece of wire and put one end in this dimple on the pivot rod in the swing arm, and then use a little O-ring or whatever to mark the center of the axle and compare the two sides. Same on the other side, dimple in the swing arm to the center of the axle. I don't have a coat hanger or anything to make one out of that's long enough, and you can buy one for about $20. It's a really fancy one. So because I don't have the proper tool and don't have a piece of wire to make one out of, which is kind of pathetic really, I'm just going to measure, and this will be close enough. So I'm at 15, 30 seconds on this side. And 16 on this side. And this isn't going to be perfect, but it'll be close. And on a sport bike, this is exactly how you do it, in most cases. So now I'm just going to snug up my double check my belt tension. And it's still right where I want it. So now I'm not going to tighten my axle, but I'm going to make it snug. Now I'm going to pick it up and spin the wheel and make sure the belt's not rubbing too hard against the edge of the pulley on either side. And the belt's not right dead center, but it's not an Indian, it's a Harley. So I can see an air gap between the belt and the edge of the pulley. So that's good enough on Harley Davidson. So now I can torque that axle, and we're done with the rear tire. And the torque on the rear axle for this bike is 72 to 78 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go right in the middle at 74. And now I can put my snap ring back on, and I can put my little rubber protectors back on. I hope that's in frame. I can't see. And another thing I like to do to keep those from loosening up is, now that that's tight, I put just a little bit of tension on them. So, tire change is done on the rear. Oh, let's tighten up our belt guard in the front too. Don't want to forget that. It'll rattle and make all kinds of noises, and we'll wonder what's going on and drive us crazy. And the shocks and the belt guard have self-locking nuts, so you don't really need Loctite on them. And that's tight. Normally this is the point where I'd put brake fluid or pump out the rear brake as well, but I need to diagnose what's going on with the rear brake. So that will probably be a different video. But if you're doing your own, don't forget to pump out the rear brake so that so that you have a rear brake when you go try and stop on your road test. So that's it for now. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.